Good morning. It is Monday, November the 13th, and that means two things. Happy Diwali, and it's time for the lighting industry news brief brought to you by Keystone Technologies and their XFit small wall pack with emergency battery backup. So this matches all of their other wall packs, the small ones at least, but it also does add a 4-watt 550 lumen emergency backup lighting option with a test switch. It still has the color select. It still has the dimming driver. It still has the dusk to dawn photocell, and it is still rated IP65. So you can just put this outside, rain, cold, sleet, dead of night, and it just works. And then when the power goes out, it still works. That is exterior lighting. This is emergency lighting. This is lighting made easy. The link to the KeystoneTech.com website and the product in particular is in the description. Let's go on to the news. The DOE has committed $30 million new for energy products under the benefit program. Acuity has received 12 product innovation awards from Architectural SSL magazine, and will be raising their prices. Multiple brands and multiple product lines are affected, but all those changes will kick in on the 4th of December. MEX and ULT workers are still waiting for their day in court, which is to say they don't have their retirement funds, they don't have their severance pay, and they don't know when they will get them. Yeah, that's all I got. The 5th conference on the Minnesota Convention has agreed on a global fluorescent ban, which is to say that general service mercury-based lamps should go out of service in 147 countries as of 2027. We'll see how that goes. Maxlight has partnered with Linkwell. This is for new EV equipment and software to match that EV equipment. Newark, an electronics distributor, is adding lighting and controls to their line card as they enter the efficiency market. Lights Fantastic Pro is celebrating their 50th year in operation. They are a fashion and furniture brand with showrooms across Texas. Ain't that great? The DLC's Industry Advisory Committee has not released any info from their fall meeting. Their summer meeting was June 21st. And if I had a nickel for every single time I was asked about why, I kept track of how long it takes the DLC's Industry Advisory Committee to release info from their meetings, how long that took, the time from the meeting to the release of the info, I would have 2 nickels. Which isn't that much, but it's weird that it happened, right? Energy Focus's stock value has fallen below $2.24 over a 200-day moving average, the lowest point being $1.45. Orion's Q2 shows a 17% improvement in sales. A 9-month evaluation from Lagrange shows that sales are up 2.5%, and cash flow is at €1 billion. A analysis of SemiLeds' Q4 and full year shows that revenues are up, margins are down for the quarter, and for the full year that revenues are down and margins are down. The Department of Transportation's IIJ Act funds shows that we have $653 million going to 41 port projects in the U.S. Maersk, a ocean freight company, is cutting 10,000 jobs. Rivian, a company that makes electric vans for delivery reasons, has ended their exclusivity deal with Amazon, meaning that more EVs will be going to more delivery companies. Banana Republic, maker of clothes, will now also have a full furniture range, including lighting. A Massachusetts-based contractor has been electrocuted while working on emergency lighting. The worker remains unnamed except for the fact that he lived or worked in Cambridge and was 44 years old. The police are working with OSHA to confirm all the details and what might have gone wrong. But until then, stay safe. Dave Murphy and Associates is expanding with new branding for the New Jersey outdoor lighting firm. Outdoor Lighting Texas is adding a new location in San Marcos. CSC LED is launching a reward program, which means that contractors can collect points for discounts and or merch. New York, the state, might make daylight saving time permanent, which would be good, if true, for the residents, but also because all of the neighboring states, plus also Ontario and Quebec, are kind of waiting on them to agree to make DST permanent before they agreed to do the same. And I'd really like that. I personally would really like that. In rep agency updates, LeGrand has picked Oliver Marketing to cover territory in Northern California and Northern Nevada. In UV news, Sterilumen has launched operations in the UAE by showing off at a food trade show in Dubai. And attendees of ApeFest, a Hong Kong NFT event, have suffered welder's flash because stage lights were not black lights. They were UVA-rich lights, probably for curing resin. That easy mistake to make, but again, welder's flash, eye damage for a bunch of people. Imagine explaining to your doctor that you got blinded and you owned NFTs. Attendees have begun already threatening lawsuits, starting with Asif Kamal, the CEO of ArtFi, because I guess the extra half hour in the ball pit he was promised is not really fair compared to being driven blind. A retrofitter, Joanne Donato of Wilmington, Massachusetts, has already been found guilty of embezzlement, unemployment fraud, and tax evasion, but has now been sentenced to 5 years in jail for those crimes. In the case of RBW versus Canoe, Stoda Collective, and Hotel June, they've settled. This is a quote, knockoff wall sconce case that has been closed. And Jufei has agreed to license reflective and refractive bar lens patents from Panasonic Japan for the next 10 years. Things you can do. New York Controlled has posted their full schedule. On the 16th, you can learn everything you need to know about ASHRAE 90.1 2022. This is a webinar from the DOE. If you're in Toronto on the 15th, you can go to a tech luncheon from the iOS. And if you're in London, you can go to Happy Circadian Hour on the 20th. In IoT news, we have a new board at the LCA with Gary Meshberg as chair and Yolit Heiberg as vice chair. NRG has announced their Q3 financials with $973 million in EBITDA for Q3. Nordic Semiconductor has partnered with Amber Semi for new IoT for PoE stuff. Southwire has a new deal with Ready Robotics for automation projects starting in Southwire-owned facilities. WeSun has new security updates for smart cities. Environmental Lights is adding Advitech controllers. Walmart is actually adding sensory controllers to all their stores, which means that there will be dimmer lighting and lower audio for the first 2 hours of every morning. I wonder who got that deal for controls. In R&D, Signify has rolled out a more efficient LED. The UE line is 43 to 50% more efficient than their current offerings. ShopLight is printing with 3D technology a bioplastic downlight. This is a plant-based polymer that promises to have fully biodegradable components. In darkness news, Dark Sky has named their awards winners. That includes individuals as well as spaces. Check that out. Addis Ababa has hosted the IAU Symposium for the week. Part night lighting, which is to say turning lights off at a certain time, is actually worse than full night lighting for oysters. For oysters. There you go. You can still register for the IDA's November Night Matters conference, or talk. The LDA temple planned for Wasatch County, Utah, has agreed to dim their lights. Let's call that a win, everybody. Terrell Heights, Texas, has voted no on adding streetlights Folly Beach, South Carolina is installing new turtle-friendly lighting on the beach. Sarasota, Florida has had a record year for turtles. In horticultural news, the Northern Ontario Farm Innovation Alliance has partnered with Vineland Research and Innovation to build new container farms for northern growers. And Ohio has agreed to legalize recreational cannabis. That's the 24th state to do so. The rule will come into effect on the 7th of December. Sell your lamps now. In recommended reading, all these are on nailed.org. You can explore a faulty driver. You can talk about how sustainability starts at the top of an organization. You can understand seasonal affective disorder. You can talk about digitizing lighting in the post-carbon era. We have a call for transparency on pricing. We have lighting for women's safety. We have a recap of the IALDs in Latin Americas. We have the US DOE's Justice Week and how lighting fits into that. We have a new podcast, Acuity's Steve Rowe, talking controls, the question of 2G or not 2G for your IoT projects, a white paper on calibration, just in time for N7 Day, smart homes for aging residents, long-term care homes, full-time lighting, full-night sleep ideas and how they make that happen, energy laws and how they intersect with historic buildings. San Francisco, California is has dealt with issues flipping commercial spaces for residential. We have an anecdote that one red lamp helped this one person sleep. Anecdote, of course, always the plural of data. Always. That's how anecdotes work. That's like data. Exactly. Who actually said we are all such a waste of potential, like three-way lamps for one-way bulbs? We have the case for ditching overhead lighting overall, Li-Fi, the next big thing for esports, and a satirical article entitled How I Am Treating My Seasonal Depression by Moving into the Lamp Section at Home Goods. In local news, we have new grants for Ohio. Saskatchewan is launching a new incentive program. We have big-time efficiency plans in Quebec. The Illinois State EPA has a new residential efficiency fund. Westerfield State U is adding lighting after car break-ins. I know I said I wouldn't mention the Vegas Sphere anymore, but I do want to point out that it's lost $100 billion and the CFO has quit. Sault Ste. Marie's, Ontario's public waste depots will not accept fluorescent ballasts anymore. Rushville, Indiana has swapped out 600 streetlights for LED. Fort Bend, Texas has rejected stadium lighting for schools. The Western Nebraska Arts Center has gotten a grant for new lighting. South Milwaukee, the good land, will be switching to LEDs on streets. The Florida House has funded security upgrades for Jewish schools. The District of Columbia is going LED. They're about halfway through the process. St. Louis's Rebuilding Together program has celebrated their 30th year of low-cost home projects, including switching residences in low-income housing to LED. And the Split Rock Lighthouse has observed the anniversary of the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. That is to say, the wreck of the freighter, not the song. Did I do this bit last year? The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down. On the big lake they call Kichigume. What was I saying? Anyway, internationally, Eindhoven's Glow Festival will use 4,900 kilowatt hours this year. Anglia will distribute LumiLEDs in the UK and Ireland. We have lighting-related air pollution becoming a problem for the entire world. That's to say, air pollution in Africa becoming a big problem for all of us. And Signify India is launching a direct-to-consumer website. In People News, Niche Lighting Technology has picked John Kerboff as their VP of Product Dev. Sajib Koya has won the Kerala Center Entrepreneurship Award. Michael Van Dam has been named the CEO of Fluence. We have 4 promotions at the USIA. Linda Becker is now the lighting group editor. Pro golfer Neil Fenwick will be managing projects for Halliday Lighting. Jeff Pogge is now the president of Coastal Source. Rick Deal is now the VP of Visa Lighting, but he will retire at the end of the year. And we have a number of promotions for sales reps at ServiceWire. And a thing you can make, we have a 3D printed LED wall clock. Until next time, I've been Scott Wachter. Enjoy your week and enjoy the music. Have a good one.
L'homme refuse le monde tel qu'il est et pourtant, il n'accepte pas de lui échapper. En fait, les hommes tiennent au monde et dans leur immense majorité, ils ne désirent pas le quitter. Loin de vouloir toujours l'oublier, ils souffrent au contraire de ne point le posséder assez, étranges citoyens du monde exilés dans leur propre patrie. Sauf aux instants fulgurants de la plénitude, toute réalité est pour eux inachevée. Leurs actes leur échappent dans d'autres actes, reviennent les juger sous des visages inattendus, fuient comme l'eau de Tantale vers une embouchure encore ignorée. Connaître l'embouchure, dominer le cours du fleuve, saisir enfin la vie comme destin, voilà leur vraie nostalgie, au plus épais de leur patrie. Mais cette vision, qui dans la connaissance au moins les réconcilierait enfin avec eux-mêmes, ne peut apparaître si elle apparaît, qu'à ce moment fugitif qu'est la mort, tout s'y achève. Pour être une fois au monde, il faut à jamais l'oser. Insister sur le fait que, personnellement, je me sens et je me considère d'abord comme un artiste.
a las orillas del mar. eran los caballos de